Picture premiere. The SAR Day Extravaganza. The SAR Day July 1st Reunification Gala in Beijing. Hosted live by Winnie Young, broadcasting live from Beijing tomorrow night at 8:30. Followed by the SAR Day Hong Kong 97 Spectacular. Hosted by Flora Chan and Jeff Wong tomorrow night at 10. History in the making. See it on Pearl.
好多年前，我冇辦法可以想像香港可以好似而家咁。
It's remarkable how Hong Kong has changed. Today, we are a major regional and global service center, earning our living by selling our skills, our professionalism, our enterprise, our creativity, and our reputation for integrity. The services we provide have become our biggest money earner. Service is what keeps us strong.
Terror strikes in Never Never Land.
Welcome back, and we'll cross over live to the Royal Yacht Britannia, which is leaving Victoria Harbour. The Royal Yacht Britannia is carrying Prince Charles and the last governor, Chris Patten, Lavender Patten, and their 3 daughters. They'll be going to the Philippines before they will all head back to Britain. And now let's take a look at how people in Hong Kong, Beijing, and London greeted that great moment when Hong Kong officially reverted to Chinese sovereignty.
moment of the handover in Hong Kong, Beijing and in London. A separate handover took place at the Prince of Wales Barracks in Central. At the stroke of midnight, the British military headquarters turned into the PLA Hong Kong Garrison headquarters. The simple ceremony involved honour guards made up of junior officers from both sides. And soon after the handover, the 5-star flag of China was hoisted. We'll be back in a moment with more on the handover.
Your mission objective, to take them out. Their mission objective, to survive. Mission Code Friday.
A secret about Sunraysia 100% natural prune juice. Mandy's a high flyer. Melbourne one day, New York the next. With her hectic international lifestyle, she drinks Sunraysia 100% natural prune juice, hot or cold, to keep her vital and on the go. Endorsed by the National Heart Foundation as a heart food, Sunraysia 100% natural prune juice. With dietary fibre, calcium, iron, potassium and vitamin C. Sunraysia 100% natural prune juice. Mandy's secret for the high flyer in everyone.
Enter the new century. Shape the new Asia. Emperor Group.
The more you travel, the more you realize the world is closer than you think. British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
Don't miss Warner Brothers Family Entertainment on Ice, brought to you exclusively by Visa. There's Looney Tunes on Thin Ice and Batman and Robin in the Big Freeze. 2 great shows in one, showing at the Big Top Victoria Park from 7th to 24th August. Visa cardholders call the Visa Priority Hotline.
養假身入到波至要緊，想入樽啊！哇 ！Striker 幾時都啱用，去街街咪手震啊！喂 ！We want Striker！ 跑完海灘跳 over 要小心啊 ！Striker 喺邊度都啱用。We want Striker！
Terror strikes in Never Never Land.
Welcome back to our handover coverage. In about 15 minutes' time, the Special Administrative Region Government will be inaugurated and its main officials and judges will be sworn in. Although Tung Chee-hwa's government hasn't formally started work yet, it has laid out plans for the future. It has stumbled from one controversy to the next, meanwhile, as Louisa Lim reports.
Public outrage greeted the government-in-waiting's proposals to tighten civil liberties laws. The outcry during the consultation period forced Tung Chee-hwa to tone down changes to laws governing public protests and the registration of societies. Despite the reams of paper generated by the exercise, many cried foul.
I think this is a window dressing. Now, first of all, his original proposal was so bad that clearly there was a lot of objection from the community, almost one-sided. So he had to make some concessions. But perhaps you can call consultation with Chinese characteristics.
Remembering the euphoria of the 1995 elections and promises of Hong Kong people ruling Hong Kong, politicians clamoured for a say on how the next legislature will be formed. Tung's office claimed there wasn't time for a consultation. But just days later, there was a surprising and apparently impromptu about turn.
書面俾意見我哋啦，即係就住籌委會所提嗰啲範圍，即係可以發表意見嘅，咁樣書面通知我哋。
Tung's repeatedly emphasised his commitment to livelihood issues, but the composition of his kitchen cabinet tells another story.
Of course, I would like to see more grassroots representatives there. Worries and these criticisms, you may say, I think are justified. I mean, there is a bias within Mr. Tung's executive council towards the business.
佢基本上係冇乜代表性啦，因為都冇乜直選產生嘅議員喺入邊啦。咁咧就第二點咧，就個成員咧基本上好偏重工商界同埋專業界嘅利益。
Speculation surrounds one man in particular, Special Advisor Paul Yip. A Hong Kong affairs advisor to China since 1995, he's thought to have close ties to Beijing.
But this is really in some ways someone who would be a channel for the central government to influence Tung.
Goodwill was generated by Tung's decision to keep the top layer of the civil service intact.
I know that I can work very, very happily with Mr. Tung.
But the honeymoon period was not to last long. Chief Secretary Anson Chan sent out alarm signals with a warning that Tung and his advisers don't have a deep understanding of the workings of government. But Tung denies any conflict.
最近有啲報紙指我同公務員之間似乎合作方面出咗啲問題，我認為呢個報導實在係毫無根據嘅。
Tung set up task forces on housing, the elderly and education, headed by 3 SAR Exco members. Tongue-in-cheek, the Western media dubbed them the 3 wise men. Under pattern, policy for these areas was mapped out by senior civil servants. Analysts see the changes as a danger sign.
Top civil servants naturally would be concerned about that, whether their capacity and the room for them to initiate, making policy initiations would be undermined or affected.
Whenever Tung goes around the civil servants by appointing these task force from the Executive Council, he further undercuts people's confidence that the civil service can and will protect the way of life in Hong Kong. So he's really, as head of this government, he is undermining his own government.
In another controversial move, Tung hand-picked appointees to swell the Urban Council, Regional Council and District Boards, a move critics say will dilute the power of the pro-democracy faction. Week after week, members of Tung's administration have trekked out to Shenzhen to advise the provisional legislature, placing it firmly within the post-handover establishment. This despite concerns over the body's legality, which led US Secretary of State Madeleine Albright and British Prime Minister Tony Blair to boycott its swearing in. But Tung says it's not a problem.
The credibility of this government will be high.
It was given a boost by the popular appointment of Andrew Lee as Chief Justice. The choice of 3 moderates to head the Court of Final Appeal paves the way for the continuing independence of the judiciary.
The appointments should be good for morale, because these people who are already in the judiciary and they command high respect.
The stage is now set for the man on whom the territory's future depends.
Governing Hong Kong is not a straightforward or easy job. I guess that only Mr. C.H. Tung and I, over the next few years, will know just how tough it can be from time to time. But I'm sure that he'll do the job well.
Chris Patten bids farewell, and Hong Kong watches anxiously to see how its new leader deals with what seems to be an impossible task.
With the stroke of midnight, the flags flying over Hong Kong officially changed, along with some other signs of British rule. Susan Shiu has more on that story.
Perhaps the image that best captures the change in sovereignty is the lowering of the Union Jack and the raising of Hong Kong's new flag. Bearing a white Bohemia flower on a sea of red, the flag of the Special Administrative Region was hoisted into the air, along with the flag of the People's Republic of China at locations throughout the city. There was also a display for photographers as the Hong Kong police force removed symbols of British rule, replacing them with new badges and insignias. While it looks simple here, some uniforms for higher-ranked officers had to be tailored in advance for today's new look. Even buttons had to be changed on this uniform for female police officers. From flags to officer badges to the emblem above government buildings, the SAR flower design marks a new day in Hong Kong's history and a future joined with that of some 1.2 billion fellow Chinese. Susan Hsu, TVB News.
We'll be back in a moment with the inauguration of the Special Administrative Region government. First, a commercial break.